Life often brings us into battles, not just with external forces, but with the struggles within. The enemies we face can take many forms, whether it's challenging circumstances, emotional turmoil, or even people who seek to bring us down. The key, however, is knowing that we do not face these battles alone. God's promises are our shield, and He is our deliverer. In every trial, God works for our good, as seen in the stories of Joseph, the Israelites, and Job. These examples show us that even in our hardest moments, God has a greater purpose for us, and He will deliver us from the hands of our enemies. Reflecting on this, we can draw strength and inspiration for the journey ahead. Here are 10 things that can bring change in our lives as we seek deliverance from enemies. Number 1. Trust in God's plan. Understanding that God has a purpose for every situation, even the difficult ones, gives us peace and assurance that we are never alone in our struggles. Number 2. Faith in God's timing. Just as the Israelites had to wait for God to part the Red Sea, trusting that God's timing is perfect can help us endure through challenges, knowing that deliverance will come at the right moment. Number 3. Courage to stand firm. Like Moses told the Israelites to stand firm, we must have the courage to remain steadfast in our faith, even when the situation looks impossible. Number 4. Strength in weakness. When we feel weak, we can rely on God's strength. It is in our weakness that His power is most evident, and He uses our struggles to shape us into vessels for His glory. Number 5. Surrender to God's will. Just as the clay submits to the potter's hand, we must surrender our will to God's purpose, trusting that He is molding us into who we are meant to be. Number 6. Perseverance through trials. Joseph's story teaches us the importance of perseverance. Even when others meant to harm him, God used those trials to fulfill a greater purpose. Our perseverance will lead us to deliverance. Number 7. Prayer and petition. Like Job, who cried out to God in his suffering, we are encouraged to bring our struggles before God in prayer, trusting that He hears us and will respond. Number 8. Remembering God's past faithfulness. Reflecting on how God has delivered us in the past strengthens our faith. Knowing that He was faithful before reminds us that He will be faithful again. Number 9. Embracing growth through adversity. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Embracing the lessons God wants to teach us through adversity leads to spiritual maturity and greater faith. Number 10. Resting in God's assurance. Ultimately, knowing that God has a plan to prosper us and give us a future filled with hope brings us peace in the midst of uncertainty. He is working it out for our good, even when we don't see the full picture. By holding on to these principles, we invite God's deliverance into our lives and allow Him to transform our struggles into testimonies of His power, grace, and faithfulness. Through faith, perseverance, and trust in His divine plan, we can experience true freedom from our enemies, knowing that He is always with us, fighting on our behalf.